Yeah.
All right. Hi, guys. Thank you guys for joining us today. I'm so happy to be able to tell you guys about math in the math department here at Baylor. And I'm going to start off by doing a little screen share here so you see the presentation that we have put together for you. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that. That's just the headline here. Again, my name is Professor Gwynn Dana. Gwynn. I have a Master of Science in Mathematics, and I've been teaching here, as he said, since 2014 and absolutely loving it. And then let's see here again, more information, my title here. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Baylor's math department and the mission here. And I'm not going to just sit here and read you a paragraph because that would bore you to tears. So let me just state that our mission at Baylor Math is to just basically deliver quality math instruction at all levels. And that's very important, not just the upper level math. A lot of your big schools focus on that. We really think the under level, the freshman level math is incredibly important to really shore up those math skills. So to do that, to make it significant contributions in discovery and math, and also to prepare you guys to be successful professionals and leaders in whatever industry you choose. I mean, with a math background, you do have a lot of options, more so than you may realize. And we do all of that within a strong Christian environment. Baylor is the largest Baptist university in the world, and so we uphold those values. But we welcome all faiths, not just Baptists. I mean, we have a huge group of Catholic students. We have other religions. It's not just that. It's just that we uphold those values and find it incredibly important. Okay. Let's see. Whoops, going too forward here. All right, let me tell you about the math department here at Baylor. We have 40 faculty, and I'm very happy to say that it's growing. In fact, I'm on the committee to hire 2 more people, 2 more lecturers. We're going to bring on board 2 more full professors, and that's going to happen this year. We're doing that because we want to make sure we keep those class sizes at a reasonable level, because if you're coming to Baylor, we value the fact that you want more one-on-one time with your professors, and that will allow that to happen. Also, when you're here, you have 2 options as far as a major. You can major as a Bachelor of Arts degree. You can get a Bachelor of Science degree. And of course, we have PhD programs, which the master's programs would roll into that. These are just some different research groups that you could focus on if that is your interest. And I would certainly invite you to go to the math department website to get more information on all of those and also how those degree plans are structured. All right. Currently at Baylor, student-wise, we have approximately 160 majors, math majors, and secondary majors. Now, secondary to Baylor means double major. Okay, so they're majoring in math and something else concurrently. And then we have approximately 300 minors here. All right, so let's talk a little bit now about the programs that we offer. Now, this is a BA. This is a Bachelor of Arts in pure traditional mathematics. All right. With that Bachelor of Arts, you would take 33 semester hours. That's 11 classes of math classes, which obviously makes sense. You would take 4 classes in lab sciences, such as bio, chem, etc. 6 classes in social sciences, like psychology, sociology, anthropology. So it gives you a more well-rounded degree when you get that. So that's one option for you. And with that, we can look at some of the courses that you would take. So this, because we just talked about the different math courses, you need 11 math courses. And these are some of the sequences we can see. All right, so freshman and sophomore, generally, when you're majoring, you would need to take, of course, the calculus sequence, which is, by the way, one of my pet loves. I teach calculus. That's what I'm doing this semester and next semester. Linear algebra, foundations of math, which is kind of a smorgasbord of a whole lot of different topics for you to actually see what you could expect going forward and see if that's something you do enjoy. And then we have our junior classes. You can read through this. And then, of course, our senior classes as well. Okay. Going on now, the difference here is this is a Bachelor of Science in pure, again, traditional pure mathematics. Here you would take your 13 hours of math classes. All right, so it was 11 for the BA, it's 13 for the BS degree. You would take 9 classes, 9 upper level classes, and you're going to have 8 semester hours of labs. Okay, and so that would give you that that Bachelor of Science degree. And again, there's more information on that on the math department website if you are interested. All right, so for a Bachelor of Science in Applied Math, this is different. All right, there's a pure math, and then there's applied math. Pure math are your calculus sequence, like your topography, topology, etc. This is application in different fields. So included in that is statistics, is mathematical modeling, numerical analysis. Those would be considered applied math classes. All right, and then you can see the number of classes you would need to take, and along with 8 hours of lab science. And again, all of this is given in great detail on our wonderful math department website. Okay, minor in math. We have a lot of those, as you saw from the previous slide. And this is if you want to go into maybe another field, but you want to get some of that background in math. It can be very, very helpful in your career. Popular for pre-professional majors, like if your major is if you're pre-med, getting a minor in math will complement it very nicely. Same thing with law, and same thing with engineering. For that, you would need 7 core math classes, and here are some of the classes that you would see. And by the way, I'm going to share now a little bit about me here and how I tie into this. When I went to Baylor, and I was a Baylor grad, as we said earlier. Of course, I have a master's degree in math, but interestingly enough, it may surprise you to know that my bachelor's degree is in English. That's different, but my minor was in math. And that minor in math allowed me to do a lot of things before I went back and finished up my master's degree. And I'll tell you about that a little bit later, but it's just kind of a personal description of what you can do with that minor. Okay. Secondary major, that's that double major in math. This is just what it would require if you wanted to do a double major in math. 11 core math courses, including 9 upper level courses, and it can be any of these. That's that double major in math. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, all right, okay, why do I need math? It's the quintessential question every math teacher has ever asked. Why do I have to take this? All right, or why do I need this? Or what could I even do with this? Interestingly enough, it doesn't mean you have to be in academia, all right? And this is from some research. In fact, this is a hyperlink that I'm sure this presentation will be sent out. Is this, Armand, is this sent out to the students who are on, or do you know?
It can be if you'd like it to be. We can send them the link later on. Usually we have the recording saved, but yeah, we can send it out to them.
Yeah, because this is hyperlinked, and that way they can actually see that
Sure.
about the top job in the world, in the US here. But finance, 8% of finance professionals have that math background. Statistics, technical, marketing, management, and so forth and so on. So for me, what I did, just to give you an idea with that minor and what it allowed me to do outside of academia, is I had the degree in English, the bachelor's in English. I had the minor in math. I took computer electives, and all of that got me into a computing field. I got into the technical realm. I was in computer science up in Dallas in corporate for several years. From there, I kind of just jumped into technical recruiting, and I was a recruiter for many years after that before I decided to change my career altogether. So you see, it can give you a lot of opportunities in different areas, and we'll talk about a little bit more of that in a subsequent slide. But that just kind of gives you some ideas. Okay, what about Baylor graduates here? These are just, okay, some actual case in points of what people who have gotten a degree in math could do. I mean, sure, we have teachers over at McLennan Community College. The department chair is from Baylor. We have physicists at Brookhaven National Laboratory. I'm not going to read through this whole thing, obviously, but you get an idea. Even an HR benefits analyst, that's kind of what I did too. That they're not referring to me, that's somebody else. But you get an idea that there is a lot that you can do with a background in math. In fact, I'll tell you that statistically speaking, the more math you have, generally speaking, the more money you end up making in a corporate role, because that math, even if you don't use the math directly, what it does is it gives you that problem solving skills. It teaches you to take something that's abstract and large and break it down into its parts and figure out a good logical way to attack it and bring it to completion with little direction and not much guidance on a short time frame. That's what math can make people do very well. Okay, now you're probably wondering about money. scholarship information. All right, so we have a lot of scholarship information. We have a lot of scholarships that are dedicated to math solely. All right, so again, go to the department website. Here it is hyperlinked, and you can read through all of these different scholarships. Some require a minimum GPA, others just require you to be a math major. You can read through that at your leisure, but we do have a lot of that to offer. Okay. Now, again, this is one of the fun things I get to talk about again with my classes. Why specifically Baylor for math? Because we have a very strong emphasis on teaching. I will tell you from personal experience that a lot of your big universities, their sole focus is research, and they bring in part-time help, adjunct professors, the part-time ones, to teach your lower level, freshman level classes. And a lot of those, maybe you're new teachers, or maybe don't have the experience. Anyway, it just kind of shows that their emphasis is more on the research and not as much on the teaching. We do both. We're big into both. In fact, as you'll see here, professors teach lower and upper level classes, and that is very, very important for us. Class size. All right, if you're coming to Baylor, we know that you expect to have a class size that doesn't have like 100, 200 people, which you can get at some of the big universities. No, we try to keep it, it says here at 30. I will tell you from personal experience, it's more like 25 to 35. My current classes, and I teach currently Calculus 1 and Business Calculus for business majors. And my classes are running right about 30 to 33 on average. Okay. We do incorporate technology into classes. That's important. And lots of access to professors. All right. So let me tell you my philosophy on that. If you happen to come to Baylor and you happen to get one of my classes, I love my students, absolutely adore them. I want them to come to see me. I encourage them, even if they don't have questions on math specifically. If you want to come talk to me, come and visit. And every semester, I will always end up with about 5 or 6 at least students who consistently come in here and they work math in my office. You can kind of see my office back here, the way it's structured. I usually have about 2 or 3, and I can think of one person in particular who loves the floor. She loves sitting on the floor and working math, and she has no questions for me. She just wants to sit there and work. And I'm like, hey, cool, have a happy day. Just let me know if you have questions. That's great, but stay here as long as you want. And so I usually have a whole bunch of them come see me because I love it. I love giving back. I feel like I was blessed, and I love giving back. At part of the Christian, methodology that we all live by here. Let's see what else. Okay, we would have as an undergraduate opportunity to participate in research. If you're interested in that, we have special topics classes, and of course you have access to go on to succeed, highly succeed in different graduate programs. Okay. Something else that you may be interested in to know is, okay, if you take the advanced placement tests, what do you need to make on it in order to get credit? All right. Well, if you're currently taking the Calculus AB, AP test for that, you would need to make at least a 4 on that to get credit for Cal 1. If you make a 4 or 5, then you have your credit for Cal 1 for the AB. If you take the Calculus, the BC advanced placement test, and you make at least a 3, then you will have credit for both Cal 1 and Cal 2, and you can go ahead and jump right on into Cal 3 once you started here. Okay. Math education. Now, we do have some folks who are in math education who are interested in teaching. Education majors here at Baylor who are secondary specialists, in other words, you want to teach high school, are almost math majors. The math department at Baylor and the Department of Education work very closely together. All right. There's a lot of overlap with teaching. We teach their classes, they teach our classes. We have a very cooperative relationship. And so people who do come to Baylor to learn to teach will, like I said, walk away with just almost a degree in math. And here's another benefit. A BA or BS degree in math education includes your certification. You don't have to get the degree and did go get the certification. You can do both. Now, let me tell you another option for you. And again, I'm speaking just from personal experience of what I did. As you know, I had that minor in math and I had a bachelor's degree in English. and I worked in the corporate arena for 20 years. So why am I teaching? It's like, what am I doing here? Well, let me tell you what that math allowed me to do. With only a math minor, I was able to change careers very easily back in 2008 when the market tanked and people were being laid off. Because I had that math minor background, enough hours, I was able to go through a fast track program in education to get a certification to teach. So I didn't go to school to teach, but because I had that math, I was able to change careers, and the downtime was maybe just a few months, and that was it. And that's worth something. If the market tanks and you're out of a job. I thought, well, I'll do this for a while, then I'll go right back to corporate. But you know what? I love what I do. I would never go back. This was my calling. In fact, I think this was what was meant to happen all along. It got me to where I needed to be. It got me to where I'm helping people, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly. It's just a little more about me, but if you do have any questions, I would love to entertain them now. And of course, here is my email address, and there is that math department link. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you guys might have.
All right. Well, Professor Gwynn, thank you so much for all that wonderful information and sharing your personal story. I think that's the story of like a lot of Baylor's community. And I think if students have interacted with me before, they know me. I love the word community. That's why I talk about Baylor. I say like, that's what sets us apart from all the other universities in the world. And like, it's professors like you that, very much pour into that community where it's your passion. And we find that across a lot of our majors, all of our majors really, at our university. As far as questions from the students so far go, y'all drop them in the chat. We did have, not the chat, I'm sorry, the question and answer. We did have one from Allison. She asked, what AP scores does Baylor accept to bypass BC Calculus and AP Stats? I think you answered the BC Calculus, pardon me.
The BC Calculus was a 3. If you make at least a 3 on the BC Calc, then you'll have credit for Calc 1 and 2.
Correct. And AP Stats, did you answer that one as well?
AP Stats, actually, I'm glad you asked that question, because actually statistics at Baylor, while we do work together, is a separate department.
Oh, I did not know that.
We have our own statistics department and we have our math department. Years ago it was combined, but it is now separate, but we do work together. But that would be a wonderful question. That's a very good question. I'd have to find out the answer for you, or you can look on the website either way.
Yeah, not a problem. And also for those of y'all wondering, I did drop the link to our AP course sheet in the chat. You may have noticed I dropped it a little early, but it's in there for y'all. So it's the first link in there. If you want to go check out all the AP courses we offer or all the AP courses we accept and the grades you need to get on those exams in order to get credit, we also tell you which classes you get credit for. So go to that link. But yeah, I did not know that. Stats is a different department of Baylor. Wow, interesting. Yeah. International studies major here, guys. Math is very much not my world. I find it very fascinating. I'll have another question for you. So we talked about AP credit, but do you give credit for IB courses?
Yes, we do in the math department. It's not as straightforward as AP scores. Like if you make this on an AP, you get credit for this, because there's so much variation with IB. If you have an IB program background, and I'm very familiar with IB, and that's a great program. You would need to reach out to our undergraduate program director, Dr. John Davis, and we can supply that information as well. He oversees all of that, and he could get your information and tell you exactly what you would be given credit for. But the bottom line is, yes, we do. It's on a case-by-case basis to see what all you've had.
Awesome. I love that. Well, y'all, I'm gonna throw a last call out there for like Q&A. Drop a question. Oh, here we go. Nice. Allison, you're like carrying the chat. Good job. I'm proud of you. Excuse me. So Allison asked, for some of the lab requirements, how many hours would you be granted on AP Chem with a score of 5? Would hours be granted with AP Physics/Bio? Do you know the answer?
No, I don't. I can't say that I know the answer to that question because it's not math directly. If you were an AP Chem or Bio major, then that I'm sure it would have a credit there. How that would apply to math, I don't know. Yeah,
I think in that case we'll be talking about the core curriculum, and so honest answer is I don't know either. So you're going to need to
Yeah,
talk to
that might be
academic
another good
advisors.
question for the undergraduate program director, that whom I
It would be.
referenced earlier, John Davis, Dr. John Davis.
It
He
definitely
be a
would
great
be.
person, since he oversees all of that. Yeah. And we can
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
to him.
Or Allison, let me see. I can't hold your file right here, but I recommend shooting an email to your admissions counselor. I'm throwing us under the bus. That is what we're here for. We're kind of like the concierge for the school. So all those weird questions y'all have, even if we don't have the answer, we're very good at finding them or getting y'all connected to the person
yeah.
that can find you the answer.
Absolutely.
So excuse me, y'all. Allergies today. There I go. Great. So I recommend dropping an email to your admissions counselor. All of y'all have admissions counselors already. Baylor.edu/meet. It's based on where y'all live, where your high school's at. Shoot that question to your admissions counselor. We have another question from Jack Sanders. He asked, do you find that business majors often minor in mathematics?
I have a lot of business majors in my classes. We have a couple of different arenas you can go through. Business majors, of course, are for the most part required to take business calculus. We have a new program here, the Handclammer Scholars Program. Handclammer is big business schools here at Baylor. And part of that program is they are required to take their first semester is not business calculus, but regular scientific calculus, because it is an upper level program. As far as the number of business majors who take pure calculus, as a matter of fact, I was just speaking to one of my students yesterday who came in to see me about some problems, and I was talking to her about her major, what she wanted to do. And this is regular calculus, this is scientific calculus, and she wanted to do sales. She wanted to do specifically medical device sales, because she said to her, and this is her personally, she said that she felt that the business courses were kind of boring, and besides that, she felt that the science part of this was harder to learn than the sales part. She could learn the sales part pretty easily, but she really wanted to get that strong science background in order to do this type of sales. And I was like, that's actually a very smart way to think about it. Yes, because I'll tell you this, the business people who have that science calculus background gives them an edge when they're interviewing, because not many, but I'd say overall, and I'm talking about on a whole, I'm not going to call it a national, statistically national level, most business majors don't take too much calculus, or math, I should say. So I would say the more that you have, the better edge it gives you when you're interviewing for that position, because you can sell that, but that's what sets you apart. And that's what it takes to get the job that you want.
That's a valid point. Sometimes it's what you know, not necessarily what your degree says. I mean, I think we're both living examples of that. So
oh, yeah, absolutely. It's all in how you can set yourself apart. This is me talking from my years as a recruiter.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's something also I do for my students when they come here. I tell them about my recruiting background, and as a way I give back, I offer, if you want to, maybe I can look at your resume. I can help you write a good resume. I can help you do mock interviews. I do all that for my students on the side.
I love that.
Those are some ways to give back, and certainly would help students if they had that kind of scientific math background.
That's awesome.
In any career field.
I love that. Well, Professor Gwynn, thank you so much. That's our time. Thank you so much for giving us some of your Saturday to be here and talk to us. If any of y'all have further questions, William, I saw that you asked a quick question. Email that to Professor Gwynn. Shoot her an email, shoot your admissions counselor an email. We're here to answer those questions as well, but that is our time today. So again, thank you so much for joining us.
If you have any questions, guys, I'd love to help you out. That's why I'm here.
I love that. Well, great. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. Professor Gwynn, thank you for joining us, and see y'all in a future premiere session.
That's right. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. Bye.